Hey, this is Pete. Thanks for checking out my channel and this blues guitar tutorial. So this time around I'll be talking about a Chicago blues style shuffle. It's a 12-bar progression and it's in the key of A major. As well, I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite subjects in blues and of course blues guitar, and that's the call and response style. Okay, so we'll get started with the example and then I'll follow it up with the tutorial. If you haven't done so already, I'd really appreciate a subscribe to my channel. Blues progression following the 1-4-5 chord progression. So of course I got 3 chords, an A, a D, and an E. And my fundamental or basic groove is a Chicago blues shuffle with this kind of a rhythm. Okay, so that's that 8th note rhythm with a shuffle feel. Got the same thing happening for the 4 and the 5. And as I mentioned before, I'm going to be looking at the call and response style in this. So I'm going to be playing a line and I'm going to be following it up with the rhythm. Okay, so that's the call and response that I was talking about. I've got a lead in or pickup line or fragment, and then I go back to the bottom end shuffle. So what I'm doing is playing that little fragment and then I'm answering it with the bottom end. Okay, and then the second fragment, it's very similar. I'm just doing a little bit of a hammer on there. Okay, so here it is in slow motion. So I'm playing the root and playing these double stops, sliding in and playing the natural third and the 5th there. Okay, one more time. And then so that's just a hammer on into that 3 and 5. Okay. Double stop and back. All right. So you can practice those separately. And then I'm moving on to the 4 chord, which is off of a D. And my lead in line is like so. Okay, so that's how I'm maintaining my call and response. Starting at the root and then playing some sliding double stops. As usual, starting slow and building up the speed, and that will bring the smoothness to this. Okay, back to the 1. And then to the last 4 bars of the 12-bar progression, starting off from the E. Okay. To the 4. variation to the 5 chord, which is an E dominant 7. All right, so here it is. 4. Okay, so I've got this little rhythmic variation here to start off my turnaround. And then so that's very much in the style of Robert Lockwood Jr. And to mention it, this rhythm is very similar to Blues with a Feel, and there's lots of call and response there with the harmonica. So that's where I got some inspiration on this rhythm. All right, so that's that turnaround, and this ends the first 12-bar section. I'm continuing with the call and response for the second 12-bar section. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm chromatically climbing up with the hammer on onto that double stop again. From the flat 3 to the natural 3rd, and then the 5 is on the top here. Okay? And then, okay, so just playing around with that chord. From the 5 to the 4, to the 5, 4, and then that hammer on. Okay, and then the 4 off of the D. It's essentially the same. I just moved it up to the D position, which is found at the 10th fret there off of that D chord. And then I'm going to return to the 1 for 2 more bars. After this, I'm going to start with the last 4 bars of the 12-bar progression, and this is where I'm going to end my example. So it's the same thing on the 5 and the 4. And then my turnaround. From that turnaround, I'm going to end the progression. All right, so what I'm doing, again, this line is inspired by Robert Lockwood Jr. He played lots of lines like this, quite melodic, and one of my biggest influences in Chicago blues. So starting off with the root, have a little hammer on from the flat 3 to the natural 3rd. Raised 9 into my A9 chord. Such a great turnaround. All right. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and got some ideas on the call and response style in Chicago blues. In my example, I was combining a bottom end rhythm part with a top end part. And this is something that was really heard a lot from the Chess House Band that was backing up such artists as Little Walter and Sonny Boy Williams and so many others as well. The 2 guitars interweaving parts. Somebody holding down a bottom end line and somebody doing a top end line with melodic notes, double stops, and top end chords. So I'd really appreciate a subscribe if you haven't done so already. That'd be really great for me to continue this channel. Also a like if you enjoyed the video. And I'm going to return next time really soon with another blues guitar lesson.